Hey there, and welcome to I Buy Myself Flowers. I am your host, Allison Tibbs, and I'm going to share with you a video or a conversation that I had with a friend of mine. We were talking a lot about life, and we were talking a lot about our journey and our lessons learned. And at the very end of the conversation, she said, "We need to get this on camera." So we pulled out a camera with no lighting equipment, with no microphone. So it's very raw and real. And she said, just say kind of everything together in one kind of statement. So that's what this conversation or this video is all about, what this episode is really all about. Number one, it's so important to have really good friends in your life who will allow you to share and who can bring these gems out of you. And two, that encourage you to continue to share your story, to continue to be the amazing, brilliant person that you are. So that's what this conversation is. As I said, it is not one that is perfectly edited. The video image quality isn't that great. The audio is a little tinny, but I knew that there was no way that I could recreate the content or the message. The message in my mind is actually one of the most kind of real and authentic things that I've shared in a long time. So hopefully you will enjoy it and you'll take some lessons learned there. And again, the whole purpose of I Buy Myself Flowers is to ensure that as we navigate and move through our life, that we are really making sure that we are stepping into our power and that we are honoring ourselves and that we are creating space for us to really just be brilliant and shine. So enjoy this. I hope you do. And I would love to hear your thoughts or your ideas, any takeaways or ahas. But otherwise, settle in, get comfortable, and enjoy the conversation. I think that a lot of people don't understand that they have the ability to have so much more out of life. I think that so many people, they believe that where they currently are in their life, whether it's in a relationship, a job, a situation, they believe that that's as good as it gets. And so they make that belief set the standard, right? Like it sets the standard for what they believe they can have. And then they get stuck there. And not only do they get stuck there, but then they like fight to stay in that space. I'll use myself as an example. I dated someone who was not good for me. Like they were not good for me. And my friends would tell me they weren't good for me. I mean, even deep down, I knew that they weren't good for me. And all I wanted was for this person to love me and choose me and see me and just, I was just always hoping that one day they would wake up and be like, "Allison, you're the one." And in that moment, not in that moment, but during that period of my life, I made myself believe that what I deserved was this person and this person's disrespectful treatment of me. And so when you believe that, then you don't aspire, you don't elevate to more. You just you settle for crumbs. And that's what I did. And it's so funny now that I'm out of that situation and now with someone who loves me, adores me, spoils me, considers me, is just all about me in the best, healthiest way possible. I look back and it's funny, my best friend and I we kind of joked around. We were like, remember when we fought to stay in these awful relationships with those people? We fought we did everything we could to stay in that situation with the person who did not treat us right, do all those things, but because I believed that's all I deserved, then that was my reality. And I couldn't even think about wanting anything differently. I couldn't think about, being with someone else because all I wanted was that thing. And that thing was like not good. And if I think about people that I train or people that I coach, a big part of where we kind of start is really trying to understand what is it that you want, and what's the block there? Like, what's keeping you from getting it? And 9 times out of 10, it's not ability. It's not, if someone comes to me and they want to get their health on track, it's not that they don't know, like they don't have the ability to get healthier, to lose weight, to do these things, right? Because scientifically, if we're speaking, it's like, put them in a calorie deficit, get them moving more, get them, eating healthier food options, drinking more water, managing their sleep, like all things that like easily, if I just wrote that prescription down and they followed it to a T, it would be done. And it's not that it's not like, oh, it's hard to do it because I'm this or I'm busy or I work. That's not it, because there are plenty of people who have the exact same lifestyle that my client would have and they get it done. So it's not about like any of that. It all comes down to like literally like what we believe and like what we hold to be true. That's it. And what I've seen with most of my clients when we are working together, a lot of times it's just these really, really messed up beliefs that they hold about themselves and what they deserve and what's possible. Or they have something here that's like deep within their core, like their fundamental belief about themselves, that's preventing it. And that's where the self-sabotage comes from. That's where like the friction comes from. That's where all these things come from. And so I'm always trying to show people that if we can get to the root of the belief systems that are holding you back, then it's easy. Then it's easy. It's easy to lose weight. It's easy to write that book. It's easy to quit your job and start your own business. It's easy to become a better parent. It's easier to bring more passion and love into your relationships, to save more money, because it's not about the thing, like the action. Our belief systems, our thoughts, our beliefs dictate how we navigate through the world. And if you believe that you are not capable or able or worthy or deserving or qualified or enough to have the thing that you want to have, you're never going to get it. You'll never get it. It's literally that simple, because our beliefs are so powerful. It's crazy. It's crazy when I go through that work and work with people and do the work on myself. When I look at my journey, I look at what I've overcome and things that I've accomplished and achieved. It's only when I had the awareness and the acceptance to know, like, this is what I want, and like, this is where I am. Like this, like point A, point B. And like, really being honest with myself, because I think a lot of times too is we're not honest with ourselves. We're not honest with like where we really are. We're not honest. We'll overcompensate, or we will exaggerate, or we'll say, yeah, I'm doing everything I can. I'm trying really hard, but like this is happening, that's happening, this isn't working. And the reality is, it's like your beliefs are trash. And so it's tripping you up, or you're not really putting in the effort that you're saying that you're putting in, or you're using this person or this experience or this situation as an excuse. And what I'm never going to say is that like you're playing the victim role, because that to me is harmful language, especially when I'm working with people. I work with people who are empowered and who are wonderful and great and brilliant and have all the tools and all the skills within them. There's just a block. Like, there is nothing wrong with who I work with. They are amazing human beings. They just have a block that's in the way. And so when we get really clear on, this is where I am, this is my truth, this is where I'm falling short, this is where I struggle, this is where I know that I'm not really leaning into it. And maybe it's because of fear, maybe it's because of conditioning, maybe it's because of past failures, maybe it's because you've tried and tried and tried and you keep failing, maybe it's because someone is speaking into your life that's not really helpful for you, and you're taking that in. And once you can do the awareness and the acceptance of where you are, then we get a chance to look at the beliefs around it. And I want to know all of it. I want to know, where do these beliefs come from? I want to know how they show up. I want to know, what does it feel like in your body? I want to know, what happens? Where are the moments, the people, the environments, all these things. And once we get to that part, it's a lot of care has to happen there. But what I know to be true is that once we can really look at those beliefs, then it's a chance for us to start to be courageous and make change. Small changes to daily habits, small changes to their lifestyle, small changes to their environment, small changes, because also not everyone can just do like this grand gesture, this big shift all at once. Some people can. But for some people, when your beliefs have shaped who you are and how you show up, and they've warped your reality, it becomes a part of your identity. And so sometimes these big shifts and changes, it's like you don't even know who you are anymore. And that can be a really scary place to be for people. But I would say for anyone or for anything, it's just when in doubt, if there's anything in your life that you want, if there's anything in your life that you have had as a goal that's maybe been on your New Year's resolution for, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, it's not because you don't have the ability to achieve it. Anyone can write a book, anyone can start a business, anyone can lose weight, anyone can do all these things. But if you're finding that you keep running up against a wall when you try, and you can't figure it out and make it work, then that lets me know that it's not about the ability or the tools or the resources. It's 2022. There are so many resources available to help people. There are so many products and solutions and services and companies and websites and videos. And we are not short of information how to. We are a highly resourced society. So it's less about that, but it's about what are you telling yourself? Your beliefs are creating what you believe is possible. And it sounds like woo-woo or whatever, but it's just facts. Okay, here's an example. So my dad grew up in very meager circumstances. He didn't graduate high school. He, a typical Black American man growing up in a time where there was racial injustice, and there's a lot of things going on, and it's kind of similar to what's kind of happening right now. And if he looked around his environment of poverty and violence and maybe not with the best circumstances, if he looked around and said, this is as good as it gets, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be born. Because my dad didn't know how, he didn't know what he would have to do, but he had a fundamental belief that there was more out there for him than what his current situation had. And he refused to let his belief system around what was possible for him keep him stuck in that environment. And I guarantee if I asked my dad, what are your best buds when you were growing up, where are they today? Because I know the town that my dad grew up in, and I know the kind of mindset of the people during that time had from just him speaking to me and sharing his experiences. I know that his brothers are no longer here and lived a very different life than my dad lived. And my dad will tell you that he is not special. He's not better than anyone else. He's not better than his brothers. He's not better than anyone that he grew up with. The only thing that my dad did differently from those who stayed in that environment was that he believed that where he was not the end all be all for him. And so his beliefs generated movement and activity and habits and patterns and behaviors that got him out of his environment and gave him the courage to go out and seek something that he wanted. And here's the thing. If you look back at my dad's life and what he's accomplished, he's a very successful entrepreneur now. Very successful, doing some amazing work right now. I mean, literally, I can't even tell you some of the deals that he's been working on lately. It's amazing. But the thing is that on his journey, and from what I got to see and witness, I got to witness a lot of his journey, is that he always believed that there was more. And it wasn't that he wasn't grateful for what he had and grateful for where he was, but he also realized that that was just one stop on his journey. And to know that there is always more and there's always something that's there for him, that his potential, there's more. And as he keeps achieving goals and accolades, you are happy with where you are, you're happy with what you have, and then you look and see, where else can I expand? Where else can I bring more of my gifts? Where else can I learn more? Where else can I do more? Where else can I serve more? Where else can I be of more of a service to this world and this community and society? And that's it. So for me, I am a big, big, big believer that our beliefs truly do dictate and show us what's possible. And that's what we have to focus on. Like, do the belief work. Challenge your beliefs. Figure out where they come from. Flip those beliefs. Whatever you got to do, because that's when things start to move. Because it's impossible for you to have a belief that you truly deserve the absolute best in a partner and be stuck in a toxic, unhealthy relationship. Those are two totally different realities. If you really, really, really believe deep, deep, deep down in your core that you deserve to be loved and respected, it's impossible for you to stay in a relationship that is unhealthy and toxic. If you truly, truly believe that you were put on this earth to create a business that will serve people and make an impact in the world, it will be impossible to continue to stay in a job that does not serve you and just crushes your soul. I'm one of those people. I worked in corporate America for 4 years, and every single day I went to work, I felt like my job was crippling me. I loved who I worked with. I loved what I did, but I felt like it wasn't all that I was meant to do. It wasn't all that I was meant to do. So I had this belief that there was something more. I had this deep-seated belief that I'm meant to serve more people. I'm meant to do more. I'm meant to make a bigger impact than what I'm doing right now. I'm grateful for this job. I'm grateful for the connections, but there has to be more. And that belief gave me the courage to leave corporate America at 25. This is what I mean. You cannot have a fundamental belief in your core and stay in a situation that does not correlate with it. It's impossible. But if I believe that job was the best that I was going to get and I should be grateful for it and put my head down and just keep going and not dream or want for more, then I would have stayed in that job. And you know what? I would have been fine. I would have been fine, because a lot of people who stayed in that job at that company are doing great right now in their life. But I knew that wasn't for me. And so I had to trust that belief that I had and let it give me the courage to take the step to quit my job at 25 in 2009. I was living in New York, where it was one of the big financial crises that like my generation had first seen. Like, people were getting pink slips. I remember being on the subway and seeing people crying because they just lost their job. And I'm like, I don't think this is for me. I want to do something with more impact. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I just knew that I was not a good employee, and working for someone was like not what I was meant to do. So that had to change. But I share these stories with you because I think we sometimes will convince ourselves that we're wrong or selfish or not or ungrateful because we desire something more. And what I would say to some person who has that belief and who has a dream that desires more, I would say you deserve what you desire. And if you desire to that thing, if you desire for more, then you deserve it. So go out there and get it. Because when your belief is strong enough, you become courageous and bold and brave enough to take steps forward towards that dream, towards that reality, towards that goal. And that's all I ever want for anyone. If I could wave a magic wand and like give a gift to the world, it would be that. It would be that people would lean into their beliefs and in their dreams and truly believe that it's possible, and just give them like this like boost of confidence and boost of courage and boost of bravery, just to have them go for it. Because even though you go for it, it doesn't mean that you'll fail, or that you won't fail, or that you won't, make mistakes along the way. But as I always say, my worst day doing what I do as a entrepreneurial creator, coach, trainer, whatever it is that I do, my worst day at that is still better than my best day working at that corporate job right out of college.